welcome to Tony Time. Even before you arrived here, Erin and I have just been laughing and giggling over everything. And on that note, Erin has been on our show a couple years ago. She is a master of so many things, which we're going to talk about today. Erin and I met at Brighton Hospital.
Probably.
Yeah, doing standardized patient, which we've talked about that in the past. And Erin's a standardized patient, and we go in and we act out a script. And that's how we met. And we just kind of connected in a very odd way. You know, we're not overly, but it's like a knowing thing we have between each other. So without any further ado, welcome, Erin.
Thank you, Tony. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me back.
I love it. It's just been too long.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I told everybody, you know, as you heard, you do so many things.
I do. I love my life.
I know you do.
That hasn't always been the case.
It shows.
Good.
It shows. And I mean, I want to go back a little bit with you.
Yeah.
And then arrive where we're at here today.
Okay.
I mean, I see you walk in your long, flowing outfit.
Yes.
Or coat.
Flowing pants.
Flowing pants. You're always flowing.
Flowing scarves.
Yeah.
Flowing.
Wolf.
Wolf flow. We talked about that.
Erin and I were talking about a book I'm reading by Anne Rice. And I had one book that I was reading like for over 2 years, The Mummy.
The Mummy book.
And every time I'd show up at standardized patient, I'd have the book. Finally, I finished it. And now I'm on to The Wolf Gift.
Wolf gift.
So Erin points out, wolf spelt backwards is flow.
Yes, it is. You can try that at home.
It's like dog spelt backwards is God.
It's true.
So, this is how this show is going to go today.
We've already talked about the origin of the universe.
Yes.
I'm sorry you all missed that.
It was very good.
We explained it.
We explained everything.
So, but let's move on. We're not going that far back in time.
We're not going that far back in time, but we have more fun, so you have to keep up with us. Our minds are going really, really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you an only child?
I am not. I have an older sister, and I have many step siblings from my parents' various, marriages.
I understand that. I understand
I
that.
feel the richer for it. I know that's not everyone's experience, but
you should.
I embrace, my siblings, and I feel lucky to know them all.
When you were a child,
Yes.
were you a shy child, which I don't think you would be?
This is interesting, Tony. I grew up in Manhattan, and every time I meet someone, they say, you seem like you are a farm girl. And I grew up in a big city, and I never really understood that, but I started telling people directions. I was being asked where to go for directions. I remember being asked when I was like 7 and on the sidewalk. I'd tell people where Park Avenue was and where, Second Avenue was, and just orienting. I love Manhattan because it's that grid.
Well, yeah.
And well, at least where I lived, it was a grid. And and so I think people had this impression that, you can't be from a big city because you're so friendly and like innocent and
I know,
but it's
but I mean, I lived in Manhattan 30 years.
Yes, I know.
And I always said, if I would have had children, I would want them to grow up in Manhattan.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's great you grew up in Manhattan.
To get back to your question though, was I a shy child? I wasn't super outgoing, but I did know one of my earliest memories was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a roller skating teacher and a flower shop worker. I wanted to put flowers together because I always loved the smell of the flower shop.
Yeah.
And I wanted to teach people how to roller skate because I was really into that as a little girl. And I kind of do that today. Like I teach people movement, and I surround myself with beauty, and I love my senses. So although I don't work with flowers, I feel immersed in the arts.
But you're in Maine.
I am in Maine.
Everything smells wonderful.
Yes, pine fresh.
Pine fresh or ocean fresh.
Or ocean fresh.
Whichever it is.
It's true.
Okay, so you have a lot of siblings.
Yes. one true older sister.
Right.
And then lots of siblings. Some of them live in the city, some of them live across the country. We're all spread out.
So now, growing up in Manhattan.
Yes.
All right, when did you leave Manhattan?
I left halfway through high school.
And where did you go?
I went to a Quaker school for the last 2 years of high school.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I loved it. I struggled in high school in New York. I struggled. I struggled with the cliques, and I struggled with the, just the, I don't know what you'd call it, just social anxiety. I don't know. I was shy and awkward, like so many of us are. But some people really peak and like really are in their element in high school, and that was not me.
So was that your idea or your mother's idea?
It was my idea. I'd gone to I'd like met the Quakers in other ways. I'd like been to a retreat at a summer camp, and so I was like interested, and I really got along with these Quaker youths. And so I went to this school, and then I went to Maine for college, and I struggled in college too. Wouldn't you know it? I just had this kind of depression, and we don't have to get into the whole thing.
Yeah, but what did you study when you were in college?
I studied French, and I actually love the French language. And I taught French for many years. I'm not currently teaching French, mais je parle français et j'adore le français. Et ça sent bon dans la bouche. On a vraiment la sensation de la langue.
So good.
It feels good to speak it, and I miss that a little bit. So I may be getting back into either teaching or tutoring or doing something with French because I miss speaking it. I miss the mouth feel of French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, so, okay, I think, now, your mom during this time.
Yes.
She was supportive of you going off and doing that because you wanted to do it? Or?
Yes, my dad was also supportive. They were divorced, but they both sort of recognized that I needed to change schools, and it was a very supportive environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very lucky in that respect.
And then from that point, you went to college in Maine.
Yes, I did. And then I went to grad school after doing some teaching in the world at different, at elementary school level and different teaching adults at night. I worked a little bit, and then I was like, you know what? I'll go back to school. I got a doctorate in French and Romance philology.
Wow.
I know, I'm a doctor.
Oh my.
You may not have known that.
I did not know that.
We're standardized patients, but I'm also a doctor.
I thought you played one on TV and that was it.
No, I'm also a real doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh my.
I know, this is news for Toni. Is this news?
I don't think I can handle this.
This is when we should pull the drape and reveal the bathtub. You'll hopefully get a chance to see the bathtub.
Right, exactly. Wow. So,
I know. So that allowed me to teach at the college level after. But my heart was never in it.
But how old were you when you were doing that?
I was in my mid to late 20s. I was getting my doctorate.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I got it done. Get her done. I got her done. I taught in academia for several years right here in Maine. And the students were wonderful. My colleagues were wonderful. The institutions, like you couldn't ask for a better, but my heart, Toni, my heart wasn't in it. My heart wasn't in it. My body wanted to move.
Yeah.
And I could move in teaching French. There's a lot of gesturing, especially with beginners, Yeah. Ooh, il fait chaud. Oh. But there's a sort of a point where you sort of max out of that. You're gesturing, and I wanted to move, and I wanted to help people feel gratitude for this amazing body that we get to live in. Yeah. And I discovered that through teaching NIA. And I discovered NIA by doing a random internet search.
Okay, during that time, you discovered NIA.
Yes, it was around 2008.
What does NIA stand for?
Originally, in 1983, at the height of the jumping jacks aerobics, it was non-impact aerobics. That simple. Because they took off their shoes, they went to lessons in the dojos and learned from the martial arts. They blended East and West, and they said, we want to do movement that's mindful, that's grounded, that's energizing, and that taps the whole person. So they said, we're going to call it this, we're going to call it NIA. And so now it's like a name, like yoga is a name. You don't really say it's letters stands for something. But I told you that because you asked.
Yeah.
It's really just NIA, N-I-A. And nianow.com is the official website. I've done all the trainings. I'm a NIA black belt teacher.
Wonderful.
I'm the only one in Maine. There are a handful of us NIA teachers in Maine. It's a beautiful thing. I think once I fell in love with the practice, my first class, I just fell in love and I just knew, oh, this is my heart. My heart was resonating with this.
Okay, so now if somebody from the audience
Yes.
said, okay, I want to do this,
Yeah.
what would their first class be like?
Yes. Your first class would be greeting me. I'd say, hi, welcome. How'd you find out about the class? I'm so glad you're here. Come on in. If you're comfortable moving barefoot, that's what I'd recommend. If you need to wear shoes, you're welcome to wear non-street shoes. You know, some people wear shoes, some people wear gripper socks, you know, some other people are barefoot. And we begin by setting a focus and intention for class. And that kind of focuses our minds on the purpose of class. The routine I'm teaching now, the focus is on directions in space, and the intent of that focus is to enhance our spatial awareness. What's going on with the back of my body when I'm moving? Where are my feet in space? Where are my hands? Where are my eyes looking? And that way, when I'm sitting in a chair after class, I have some more awareness. Oh, my shoulders are slouched. My butt is falling asleep. I could use a little movement. You know, we increase our spatial awareness and our body posture awareness. And so then we start slow. We need to warm up the joints and warm up the muscles. So the first song or two, the music is exquisite. It's all licensed to the Nia Sounds music.
Wow.
So it's all original music that you wouldn't hear on the radio. It's not pop, top 40 music. It's music that moves me.
Yeah.
And really, that's when you become present. When emotions enter the dance, it's personal. And so you connect into the feel of your body and you slowly begin to warm up those joints, and then we get rocking, we get moving, and we're doing some choreographed movement, but we're doing a lot of guided free movement. So I'm saying something and you're interpreting the movement in your body's way.
Okay.
It's not like a traditional dance class where everybody's doing choreography at the same
time.
time.
It's not like Zumba.
Right. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not the dance party.
Right.
It's a mindful, fun, energizing, yet calming practice. I call it the Nia paradox because people leave class with more energy than they had when they started.
Okay,
and yet they've gotten this amazing workout.
Okay, there are some people who are very, very shy.
Yes.
And they go, oh my God, I don't want to look like a fool. I don't want to make a mistake.
Yes. My heart is with them.
Okay,
My first class, I couldn't do a cha-cha-cha. I don't know if you know what a cha-cha-cha is.
Of course I do.
It's a 1, 2, 3 step.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
See, you're natural. I got lost. The teacher did a cha-cha-cha. I was like, whoa, what just happened? You know? So it took me a while. The shimmy. It took me like a year to shimmy.
She's been doing that before the show.
You know, now I love to shimmy.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get moving, and then there is a period where we come down on the floor. Because you know what, Tony? Floor play is what it's all about. For a great workout, you need to get down on the floor and use your own body weight to build muscle. We've got this weight system right in our bodies. So we use our body weight and we sometimes roll, we sometimes press, we stretch, and we begin to release, and we begin our cool down, which is also part of the 7-cycle class format. And so when you leave class, you've experienced this whole ride.
So everything has been touched, so to speak.
Yes.
Age bracket for women coming into this?
I have students who are in their late 20s, and I have students in their mid-80s.
Great.
In the same class.
Okay.
I'd say probably the majority of students are in their late 40s to late 60s, early 70s. That would be the majority.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it attracts a mature person, whether you're at that place in your late 20s or in your late 70s, who's ready to be present with what's real.
Yeah.
And they want that release, and they want, to embrace everything that's happening so that they can be aware and make different choices for pleasure and for a purpose in their lives.
Now, another point.
Yes.
If there are a lot of people possibly who want to make a change in their life this year.
Yes.
Perhaps they're overweight.
Yes.
And they're embarrassed.
Yes.
Is there anything they should be embarrassed about.
No. And you know what's beautiful about Nia is that it really is about loving your body. Love yourself, love your body, wherever I'm at with my body.
Yeah.
And my body is my home.
Yeah.
I am with my body for my whole life.
Yep.
And embracing my body as a home, it's becoming body literate. It's becoming aware of my sensations so that I can make choices that feel better.
Yeah.
Right? So the more I'm aware of what's happening in my body, the more aware I can be of my choices in my life. And we begin to grow that body literacy, if it's not already there, in Nia class, by sensing the breath, we have what we call 5 sensations of fitness, and it really personalizes it. These are what we call FAMs: flexibility, agility, mobility, strength, and stability. And so just as an example, strength, you think, oh yeah, if I lift a weight, like that's strength. What's the sensation of strength? It's energy moving in. It's muscles squeezing the bones. Now I can sense strength in my hand.
Yeah.
I can sense strength in my core. I can sense strength in my toes. I can sense strength in my whole body. Energy moving in, packing the bones. That's strength. Flexibility, energy moving out. The opposite, lengthening and reaching. So it's this kind of body literacy where I actually begin to connect with what's going on in my body.
Yeah.
And then, for example, when I'm sitting in a chair or on my couch watching TV and I begin to lose sensation in my legs or something because I've been sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
You know, my body's saying, hey,
Get
the
up.
body demands balance.
Yeah.
I've been sitting, my body's gonna need to move. You know,
Right.
my head's been looking one way, I'm gonna need to look the other way. The body demands balance, and it gets there one way or another.
See, I think a lot of people have forgotten those things.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost, like, I'm always wearing at home, I have a pair of sandals I slip on.
Yeah.
Okay, I have socks on because it's kind of cold.
Right.
All right, but when I take those sandals off and I take those socks off and I'm walking on the bare floor, there's a different sensation.
Totally.
As simple as that is, you forget, with what you're talking about, Erin,
Yeah.
that people are stuck into not paying attention to their body.
Yeah.
They're watching all these commercials about this pill will fix this
Right,
pill will fix
right.
that. And thank goodness there are those pills
Right.
for some people to help them.
Right.
I'm not denying that. But there is so much that you can do. Like you said,
Yeah.
your body is your home.
And it's a magical healing, self-healing organism.
And that's how it was built.
When we listen to it and when we, provide basic parameters like enough water and rest
Yeah.
and whole foods.
Yeah.
And barefoot movement, just to your point, there are so many nerve endings in each foot. And that's sending information up to not only my ankle and how I'm placing my foot, but my knee, my hip, that's affecting my spine, my rib cage, how my head is positioned in space. And when I'm aware of that foot and all that information coming through, that changes my movement choices.
It does.
And it builds strength, and it's great for balance. And as
Exactly.
we age, one of the reasons we get up and down off the floor in class is because, hey, we all fall, we
Yeah.
all fall down. We need to know how to get back up, you know? And that's one of the best, if there's nothing else you do, if you get up and down off the floor 10 times, that's a little mini workout right there.
Right
You're
there.
engaging all your muscles, you're moving all your joints, and
it's-
especially if you do it in different ways, get creative with it. Use a chair, don't use a chair.
See, that's the simple part
Yeah.
of it. And I've seen and I've heard and I've watched people make it more complicated.
Yes. It doesn't have to be
And
complicated.
it doesn't have to be complicated.
No, and that can be a barrier to people. Like I don't know this form. I've never been to this class.
But do you think, Erin, they're afraid of change?
Well, I think we all fear change. I think change is uncomfortable sometimes, but it's not about whether you fear change or not. It's about recognizing that to fear change is normal and natural.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with that fear? Am I going to let it stop me? Or am I going to be courageous and
Go forward.
feel my fears, but walk through them and show up to class anyway?
Right.
Because isn't that the definition of courage? You know, it's
Exactly.
like walking through fear. You think, oh, these people are so courageous. They must never be afraid.
Oh,
BS.
it's BS.
Everyone's afraid
I
at
think-
some point.
I think people get caught up more so today in their own thoughts, in their own head, their own conversations in their head that prevent them from
That self-talk can be totally debilitating.
It can completely.
And self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. I'm going to be the only one like X, Y, or Z.
Or I'm left out of this or that.
Right.
I mean, I know a lot of the people they hate technology. They hate all that because they feel left out, because they don't understand it.
Right. And they think they're the only ones.
Right.
And that's where I think we need to recognize, you know, and that's where connecting with other people like this talk show and other shows, and also friends, getting outside, seeing people, relating to people, looking people in the eye, we see that we're not different.
Right.
We all have these same fears and anxieties,
Right.
and yet we're all doing our best any given day.
But a lot of people are self-absorbed.
Right.
And they're not going to see that.
Right. Nia's really helped open me up that way.
And that is good. And that's the point I wanted to put across to
and
our
coming together in
audience.
community. You know, you're not alone dancing in your living room, although that's great sometimes.
It's great.
You're really with people, and there's an energetic exchange
Exactly.
that happens live. Like I'm feeling it with you right here. And if I'm watching you on TV, it's different.
Completely different.
You know, it's very different.
Now, before we go on to all the other things in the universe, brochure you have here.
Yes, martial arts, dance, healing arts.
I want people to see this on camera.
Yeah.
All right, so we have here Nia, martial arts, dance, healing arts, discover your moment.
Your movement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's kind of like your moment. Like your moment is now.
Discover your movement and moment.
Your moment to move is now.
It's like Eminem.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, this has been going on.
Discover
all
your
morning.
magic. We could put all kinds of things in there.
Discover your magic movement, 3 M's.
Discover your miracle. You, your body is a
all the
miracle.
M words.
I know. Discover your mystery.
All right.
Don't stop me.
Stop.
Okay.
A few of these I'm going to bring up.
Okay.
Okay, so in the class.
Yes.
Now, is this like people can come every week?
Yes, you can
or-
drop into any of my classes. Any
Okay.
of my classes you can drop into. You do not have to have go to a beginner's class to learn. You know, you just step in and you move with the way you're comfortable moving. And you look around the class and people are doing things a little differently. That's what's different about it from a dance class. In a dance class, everyone is supposed to be doing the same thing at the same time.
They're choreographed.
Right. And then we count off and we do it, you know. And, you know, there's choreography in Nia, but you can do it slower, or you can do it faster, or you can do it different. You know, it's like no one's going to be like, we're stopping class because Tony got it wrong. We take it from the top. You know, no, we're just in the flow and we're having fun.
Okay, so all of Erin's information will be at the end of the show. So I strongly suggest give her a call. Talk about this.
Yeah, email
Or
me,
come to a
contact
class.
me on my website, erincurren.com. Yeah.
So I'm seeing here, what is a Duncan dance?
Isadora Duncan.
Oh,
Isadora Duncan
Right.
began a legacy of dance. And she was the first to be free-spirited on stage. Up until Isadora Duncan, performance dance was very controlled. It was classical dance. It was ballet, la danse classique, ballet. Movements were very controlled. She leapt across the stage, free-spirited, athletic, barefoot, embracing her spirit dance. And that's the essence of Duncan dance. It's this movement that you feel from the heart center, from the upper, from the chest, that just compels you to express. And it's really that free-spirited athleticism that influences, that's one of the 9 movement form influences of Nia, in addition to jazz and
Right.
modern dance.
Yep, I see that on here. I see yoga.
Yoga is one of the healing arts influences. We talk
Okay.
about yoga as the conscious alignment of bones in space, right? So in a yoga class, you can definitely relate to that feeling. I'm on my mat, my feet are in a particular place, the teacher says to change. We're all aligning our bones in space. And so that's quality that yoga brings. The other 2 healing arts are Feldenkrais, the work of Moshe Feldenkrais, and the work of the Alexander technique.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a whole, I mean, they're wonderful techniques in and of themselves. People are Feldenkrais practitioners, Alexander technique practitioners, and we could talk for hours about those 2 techniques as well.
God.
There's so much. And then the martial arts,
Yeah.
Tai Chi, Aikido,
You
and
have a
Taekwondo.
black belt.
I do, in Nia,
In Nia.
which means that all these 9 movement form energies are part of my training.
All right.
And they're all blended in the hour-long Nia class experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's an hour long.
It's an hour long, 55 minutes, hour. It's an hour long class, ideally.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a
Now-
great workout. You know what someone said to me the other day? She was wearing these newfangled Apple watches.
Yeah.
She said, came up to me after class, so excited. I don't have an Apple Watch,
I
but
don't either.
the green circle went all the way around for my class. This is the only class where the activity circle, apparently in a day you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
So she was like, this is the furthest it's ever gone in any class. I go to my other exercise classes, it only goes halfway. I said, well, thank you, Apple Watch, because you've just endorsed Nia as smart fitness.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Wow.
clearly she's moving. I mean, it's not like she was a super athlete. She was a regular person like.
But she was moving at her
she
own
was
pace.
moving at her own pace and moving enough that the watch was like, hey, you're doing it. Yeah.
Wow.
And this was not an athletic, aerobics teacher person telling me this. This is a woman with a normal body and yeah.
Well, now I want to bring up, in the brochure,
Yes.
ERIN has the 5 principles of the body's way.
Yes.
The body thrives, dynamic ease.
On dynamic ease. The body thrives on dynamic ease. What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
For me, a simple way of describing dynamic ease is that feeling when you're learning to ride a bicycle. And at first it's awkward, but then there's a moment where it clicks. And you're not thinking about balancing anymore, and you're not thinking about all the things you had to think about when you first got on the bicycle. And in that moment, you're experiencing dynamic ease. Your muscles are working,
Yeah.
but yet you're relaxed on the bicycle because you've gotten into that flow state, if you will. Another way of describing dynamic ease is a balance between the dynamic, like the squeeze, and the release. Dynamic ease. And everything in the natural world has some kind of blend
Yeah,
of
they do.
this.
Yeah.
Our breath cycle, the tides. I mean, you can think of all kinds of things in the natural world that has this like, nothing stays,
no, it can't.
It can't. That's unsustainable. And when we do that to our bodies, we injure ourselves.
Yeah.
Likewise, if we're always in ease, we injure ourselves as well.
Right.
So that's that balance of squeeze, release, of energized and relaxed. And the example with the bicycle is one example of how that's blended into life. And maybe as a martial artist, as a dancer, you're in dynamic ease when you're moving. As a yogi, you feel that balance. You feel both relaxed and engaged in the practice, but you're not so engaged that you're tense about
Exactly.
it. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Like you on TV, you're relaxed on TV because you've done it. You're in a place of flow.
Yeah.
A lot of first-time TV people, I'm sure you feel this, they get the energy. They're sweating bullets,
Exactly.
A lot of energy going into that.
Well, they're so worried about making a mistake. They're
Right.
so worried about how they look.
Right,
This is what you get.
right,
This is it.
right.
I want to have fun. I want you to have fun with whoever I have on the show.
Yeah,
have
yeah.
fun with Erin and I. That's where I'm at.
You're in a place of dynamic ease with it.
Yeah.
You're
Now-
not waiting to exhale until the cameras turn off,
No,
That's dynamic ease.
I'm breathing. I'm breathing.
Thank goodness.
And we covered this. The body demands balance.
Yes.
The body is balanced in yin and yang.
Yin and yang, or
Yeah.
yin yang, yes.
The body's way demands simultaneously mobility and stability, which we just,
That's an interesting one. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it,
that's that squeezing in and letting
you
go.
can think about it that way. You can also think about how, for example, the spine, if we just look at our spines, there's both stability in the design and structure of our spines and mobility. It does both. Without
Right.
our spines, we'd be these little lumps of bones, right, on the floor. We wouldn't have this
Schlump.
length.
Yeah.
You know, but also if our spines were rigid, we'd be like very robotic. We wouldn't
Right.
be able to turn and bend and send a
Right.
wave through our spine, do a roll, a spinal roll. You know, all these wonderful movements. And
I
so
know.
that's the mobility stability piece in a nutshell.
And I mean, it's just really, everything we're talking about is in the brochure. Now, you have some testimonials here. One of her testimonials, Nia is one of my most precious tools for staying connected to my body and spirit. ERIN's classes are dynamic and fun and always adaptable to my particular mood. If I need to sweat, I can sweat. And if I need to be gentle, there's always room to move in my body's own way. Nia is my time to plug in and recharge. Thank you for making my movement fun at any age. I think it's beautiful.
Thanks for reading that.
The magic of Nia is that every class is a homecoming, guided so lovingly by ERIN. I've been able to listen and learn to love my body as is. I am so very thankful. That's good testimonial, my dear.
That comes back to your piece about what if I'm overweight or I haven't exercised in a long time. You know, Nia is really about loving where we're at because that's always where we're going to be. You know, it's always where we are. As sort of philosophical or existential as that is, it's true.
It's the old saying, you know, no matter where you are, there you are.
No matter where you go, there you are.
And that's it.
Exactly.
And that's the truth. I mean, if you're in a bad place, going away isn't going to make it better.
Right.
Things, unless...
Take yourself with you.
Yeah. And I have learned over my years is that things never get better. You've got to make change.
Right.
And then they get better.
Yeah. And it starts small, like small things.
And very, very small. And people get stuck in their old ways.
Right. And saying, oh, I have to change everything and I'm not ready. But it's like just one little change today.
But sometimes you outgrow your old ways. You need to learn new ways. And I say learn, and that's what you're teaching.
Yeah.
What you're teaching with the mind and just being who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, adaptability, life adaptability.
Yeah.
You know, these sensations, agility. It's like learning to, you know, play with being surprised, like surprising yourself. What does that feel like? These quick, you know, reflexive. And there's just so much. We could talk for hours about Nia, 'cause it's such a deep practice, and I keep learning. And as a black belt, I really feel that it's not that I'm at the pinnacle of my learning, like the height of my achievement. It's that, oh, I see the tools and I get to begin again.
Exactly.
With this awareness. And every day is a discovery. Every class is a discovery for me because the students are different or they're the same, but it's a different day. Right. My body is different today than it was yesterday. And there's really no end to the learning.
Exactly.
When we're willing.
Now, to stop that thought right there.
Yes.
Okay, put the brakes on.
Okay.
I want to go back just so people, what's the word? I want to make you, not make you, but let people know that as hard as you've worked, and we haven't talked about this, but in my gut, I know you have worked very hard in your lifetime. I feel it. I see it in you. We've never talked about that. But I know this about her. I know this. Now, after everything we've talked about your private life, are you married?
I am married. Yeah.
How long have you been married?
Actually, this July will be 5 years. I got married later in life. Yeah, I got married in my late 30s.
Good.
Yeah.
And your husband, I mean, how does he feel about?
He is amazing. If there's a word to describe my husband, he's game. He's game, and he comes up with the ideas for us. We go on trips. We have a rescue dog that we got over a year ago, 2 years ago now. And we have a lot of fun together. And he comes to class. And,
Great.
you know, there are men who come to class. I'd say the majority of the students are women. So for all you men out there, you know, you're in good
Come
company. And there are male teachers, of course, who teach
Yeah.
NIA, but just none in Maine. And yeah, it's just, he's a sweetheart. He's a dear, and he is very dear to my heart.
And what I want to say to you after hearing this is you deserve it.
Oh, thanks,
You
Tony.
deserve it. Now, I mean, we have some photos here we want to pop up on the screen.
Yes.
And let's talk about this for a moment. The audience will see
Okay.
what we're talking about. And the first photo, there you are.
Yes, this is a testimonial from a student of mine, a late 20, she's in her late 20s, and she says, NIA has helped me improve my confidence, strength, flexibility, and body knowledge. Talk about that body literacy we were talking about. I'm so grateful to have been introduced to NIA and to have ERIN as my teacher. Yeah, so she just came out one day with that testimonial.
That's
and
great.
It was beautiful. And I think the confidence piece is really interesting because we do use our voices in NIA class.
Yeah.
We say yes, we say no, we say the vowel sounds like ho, ha, he, who. And all of this has there's a scientific basis
It's like
for
a
doing
vibration,
it.
isn't it?
There's vibration, but there's a practical skill that we're learning. Not only we're developing lung capacity. As we exhale, we protect our low back when we do kicks. So we're engaging the core with our breath, our diaphragm, but we're also building that confidence. We're saying, oh, I can sound like this. Maybe it's that shy person who's never really said ho in a deep voice.
Right.
Or done a block or a punch combined with that sound. Ho, ha, hey. That's very powerful, not only for self-defense, but building confidence, being out in the world.
Right.
Hey,
Exactly.
I have a voice and I'm going to use it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think a lot of people wonder, about NIA. I've never heard of it. How could it be I've never heard of NIA? Well, it's been around since 1983.
Yeah.
It's now worldwide.
Exactly.
In over 40, 45 countries, it's practiced. I bring it up to the Common Ground Fair every year.
Okay.
We're going to be there again this September. I work with people of all ages. I
see
teach
that,
classes
yeah.
for adults. These were younger women. These are a women's retreat. I love doing women's retreats. It's a great fit. Oh, there's my
there.
car. There's my dog. It's a decorated car.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
And there I am at Common Ground this year, just some stills, different movements. There's a
Okay.
NIA afterglow.
I like that.
That was right after class.
And there is an afterglow. Look at
Yeah, it's so much fun, Tony,
you.
honestly.
But it shows you love what you do.
I do. This is me with Debbie Rosas on the right and Ann Christensen, my black belt trainers. And Debbie is the creator of NIA. Debbie Rosas,
Okay.
yeah. And there's the nianow.com website. So you can go to the official website and learn more there too.
Wonderful.
Yeah, through
Okay.
movement we find health.
Let's talk about this car that's decorated.
Yeah, the gypsy crib.
The gypsy crib. I remember we brought that up the last show.
Yeah.
But it is amazing. I mean, I always know when I show up at one of our standardized patients.
Whether I'm there or not.
When I see the car, I know. So what inspired you?
Yeah, I went to Senegal, West Africa, for the month of January 2006.
Okay.
And I was inspired by the cars I rode around in. And honestly, Tony, in most countries outside of the US and Western Europe, owning a car is a celebration of wealth, of prosperity. You have a car. Many people do not have cars.
Right.
And so it's a celebration. You decorate it. You celebrate it. When the brake lights go out, you string some whatever lights you can find. And those, you use those as brake lights. When the seat wears out, you put in cardboard, I mean, really, you are working with what you got. And I was so inspired by this, just working with what you got and really drawing on the car, making it colorful, making it beautiful, that when I got back to Maine, I had this, 2005 Subaru Impreza. It was all black. And I thought, wow, my stepfather, while I was away, had dented the car. And I was really glad because I was used to riding around in all these cars that had dents. So I was like, oh, good, finally, there's a little character to my car.
Right.
And otherwise it was a new car. And I started just decorating, adding little things on the inside. And then I started adding things on the outside. And I don't have a picture of the outside, but you can go to Facebook and look up the GC, the Gypsy Crib. And you can see pictures of it there. And there's also on my website, on the NEO website, you can find links if you dig around to the car. And so I drew on the outside, I drew wings on the outside, I drew labyrinths. There's a labyrinth on the roof for the truckers. When they drive by, they look down, they can have a little spiritual experience.
Really?
Well, as long as their eyes are also on the road, they're sort of... And then the inside, there's that chandelier you saw with what I call the sunroof, which is the gold roof, reflecting the light. And yes, it's a lot of fun to drive around in.
It's so great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's so great.
Yeah, and people, it's like a Rorschach test in some ways, how people respond to the car, Tony. Because some people go immediately to, what's the resale value of this vehicle? Literally, that's their first response. I was like, it's my car. It's not even your car.
What do you care?
I know.
What do you care?
I know.
Oh my God.
But it's all kinds. And then other people just start laughing, giggling, just all kinds of responses.
It makes you happy when you see the car.
Yeah.
Now, you've accomplished all of this in your life. Yes. What's next?
Well,
where's your mind?
We didn't even talk about the whole improv piece, which is a huge part of my life now.
Yes.
Portland Playback Theater in Portland. We perform twice a month, first and third Fridays at the Portland Media Center.
Love improv.
Yeah, I love it too. And playback's that special combination of real life stories volunteered from the audience that then get honored by playback. And we have like over 20 forms. You might get an improvised song as your story playback. You might get a movement sculpture, all kinds of forms. And it's a way of honoring the universal in our human experience and really seeing ourselves in one another. Every time someone's gotten up there to tell a story, there's some element of their story that I've felt, that I've even lived. But more often than not, it's the emotion I can really resonate with. And so those nights are just magical for me. And I've been doing playback as long as I've been doing NIA, 10 years.
Wow.
10 years I've been doing it. And I still feel like I'm just scratching the surface. So you ask about the future, I'm like really into the stuff I'm doing now. And I'm just growing it, letting the universe grow it for me because it's so needed and it's so powerful.
See, I love that. I love the way you say that because it's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't plan a lot.
Yeah.
The universe is going to take me. I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
All right. I have experienced that another door always opens.
Yes.
That you didn't think was going to open.
Yeah.
You weren't even looking for it to open.
Right.
And you go, oh, all right, I'll try it.
Yeah.
That's just life. But as I'm sure you know, and I know people who, for example, if somebody would say to me, and somebody just said to me, well, gee, if you sold your house, you really have to figure out all the things you have to do beforehand. I said, I don't have to do anything. It's just going to happen.
You have a high level of trust and you're in the flow of life.
And I'm not even looking to sell my house.
Right.
I'm not looking to do any of that.
Right.
But it was like, no, I'm not going to repaint. I'm not going to do any of this.
Right, right.
But I'm not looking to sell. But if an opportunity shows up,
yeah,
I'll make that decision then.
You'll cross that bridge when you come to it.
my point in that is that people need a plan. And I believe you and I, in our heads, have our own plan for us.
Yeah,
But it's a flexible thing that,
yeah, I think that's key.
yeah, it's flexible that, okay, we're going to enjoy what we're doing in the
Yeah.
moment. We're going to live, and
Yeah.
we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I can do that?
Right.
All right, sure.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that, because it's like getting so attached to the outcome. It's like, it's got to be like this. It's got to look like that.
It could
Ooh,
be better than that.
it's out of my control. Exactly. And so if I'm just kind of listening and open to what's happening, and not being so attached to the outcome, then wow, I'm really open to it being much better, like you said, or taking me in a new direction.
But you don't know that unless
Right.
you live that way.
Right, right. And I think, yeah, to your point, improv and NIA both kind of work that muscle, that acceptance muscle, that adaptability muscle, that is like, hey, in improv, this rule, yes and,
Exactly.
you're going to say, you're going to say, I'm a tree. I'm going to play a tree. I'm not going to say I'm not a tree,
Right. Exactly.
That ruins the scene. So it's about accepting like what the other person's giving you, and also adding to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you get out there and you don't know whose life you're going to touch.
Right.
And you don't know who's going to touch your life.
Right.
And no matter how old you are and how you've lived your life, if you're so, like you said, if you're so attached at that end plan,
Yeah.
you've limited yourself.
Right, right.
You really have.
It's so true.
You've limited yourself to something that could be better.
And I get this testimonial from students coming up to me after class, and they say, I look forward to this class all week. It touches some part of me that I haven't allowed time for or space for. I've always been a caretaker. I've always been taking care of other people. This class feels like it's for me. And it's like sacred.
Yeah.
And people are moved. It's so much more than an exercise class. And that's, if there's anything I want people to understand, is that it's a profound, life-changing kind of experience.
It's a life-changing thing. And I also want to mention here
is
that sometimes people need a secret, okay? It's like if you tell everybody what you're doing every moment of the day, you let the fizz out of the bottle, okay?
So you mean something you do for yourself?
So something you do for yourself.
Self-care, yeah.
You do not have to announce it. You do not have to make a big deal like, I'm doing this for me.
Although I love it when my NIA students promote the class.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. But within their family,
Absolutely.
I think sometimes having your own secret.
Yeah. This is my self-care secret.
Right, I'm not going to tell you, because it'll let the fizz out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I will.
Yeah.
But I really think that all of this plays into our lives.
Yeah.
I really, really do. And we're running out of time. I cannot believe.
Wow, really?
It went so fast.
It has gone fast.
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
my God. Oh my God, we have so much fun.
We do. And well, I'll have to come back on.
You will come back on.
I'll have to demonstrate some moves.
Next show.
Yeah.
That
will be our focus, maybe.
That'll be our focus.
So we sort of covered like the description of NIA, what it's about, what it's like, the class experience. Then we'll actually maybe be able to get some of you at home to actually do some of the movements.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Or
that'd be fun.
maybe, Erin,
Yeah.
you could do your own show.
We could do my own show. Do a NIA show.
Do a NIA show.
That'd be
Let's
awesome.
take it on the road.
Yeah.
Let's go. In the gypsy cab.
In the gypsy crib.
Trim. God.
I love it. It all works. Whether it's Discover Your Magic, the gypsy cab. I used to have a bumper sticker that said, "This is a taxi." I had to cut and paste bumper stickers because a lot of bumper stickers out there are negative. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I know.
So I took the "This is not a taxi" bumper sticker and I said, "This is a taxi." Or, I can only be nice to one person today, and today is not your day. I cut it up. I said, "Today is your day."
Right.
Sometimes we gotta change the message.
We have to change the words. We have
gotta
to change
the
things.
words. Yeah.
What horoscope sign are you?
I'm a Virgo.
No. My whole life has been full of Virgos. My whole life.
Well, here I am again.
There
Tony.
you are again, right there. Oh my God. Erin, we've got to close our show and everything.
Gonna have
But
the
all of
information.
Erin's information is going to be on at the end of the show.
Great, great.
And
Reach out and ask me questions.
ask her
You know,
questions.
if you have hesitations, reservations, I don't know if Nia's for me, this is what's going on. A lot of times people are recovering from surgery, from injury, and they come to class and they realize, wow, this is actually something I can do.
Yeah.
So don't sell yourself short. You know, life is short enough. You know, now is the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So please, don't be shy. Reach out to Erin.
Yes, please.
And thank you for taking your time.
Absolutely, Tony. It's
Being
my
on the
pleasure.
show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We'll get you back here
Great.
and we'll do a class, or
We'll do a demo, a taste,
yeah, exactly.
a sampler, a platter
A platter.
for the viewers at home.
What do they call it in Honolulu?
Oh, I don't know.
Pui, Paui.
That sounds great.
No, Pui.
I don't know.
What's it
I
called?
haven't been to Honolulu.
A poo-poo platter.
A poo-poo platter.
Erin, I love you. You're great. And I want to thank all of our audience for keeping up with us today and sharing my time with Erin and having fun with us. So with that being said, we'll see you next week. Bye.